the queen as well if the Zerg is sloppy, rather than just attacking the front here. I'm not really sure why he doesn't do that either. Perhaps he's afraid of the Zerg walking up here while Germ's running around the side. He doesn't have much in the line of defense, though he is going to be putting out some tanks soon, I believe. Where the heck did his factory go? Oh, he's getting a new factory. I don't know what happened to the last one. Oh, it's floating around. He's probably going to drop it so he can build a tech lab here instead of having it on that reactor because he wants the tanks. So both players just chilling here, and this is working out really, I think, in favor of Jeremy because the Zerg is approaching 200 food. He should already be 200 food. He should have been 200 food like a few minutes ago and done a massive push and won the game, but he didn't. He's sitting here with tons of money. He's even only got one evolution chamber. Anytime you've got a lot of money, just start. You could build 3 of these and just upgrade everything. I mean, you have so much money. So much money. And when he got this 3rd base here, the first thing he should have done is get these geysers. Because look at his money. 3,000 minerals, 400 gas. I mean, he'd have to produce so many Zerglings to use all those minerals up without any gas. So whenever you take that extra expo, man, get those geysers up right away. That's what you're taking the 3rd base for, is the geysers. Once these minerals run out, yeah, send them over, get whatever working over here, but the geysers are what you really want. So anyway, let's continue on with the game here. Jeremy's going to come in for another big assault. Let's just take a look. These roaches are way out front. These hydras are not going to engage for so long because of this bad positioning. And look, there's a few out in front. These roaches out in front are toast. If he had a nice line set up here with the hydras in the back of a nice line, he would be in a so much better position to defend this attack. Germ's kind of in the same boat. He does have a few units out in front, but the thing is that he's just stimmed. His units are going to be super fast, and they're going to get to the firing line right away. And if things look bad, they're going to be super fast, and they're going to run away using the concussive shell, which slows whatever they're attacking, which is usually the unit in front, causing everything else to be slowed. So I think he's going to destroy a whole crap ton of roaches right here, just because of bad positioning. And the Zerg's going to back him up, but now this is smart. He's trying to see. This is what I'm talking about. If he had this set up in the first place, and Jeremy's army walked in here, kind of around this corner, and the hydras come in from over here, or even if there's some hydras up top here, would actually probably be even better. There's just going to be so many guns firing all at the same time. Maybe not here so much. Not until after they'd engaged anyway. Like, keep some hydras here. As soon as these guys engage, the hydras come in from the right. The hydras come in from the left. Now you've got a surround with tons of units firing in this U, with Germ's units funneling in the front to here to die. That's what you want. But instead he had the roaches out front, and they just got worked, and he had to withdraw and take some losses. Now he's in a pretty good position. If Germ comes in and attacks this line, he's in big trouble. But again, I think he's just a little bit too separated. These roaches, if Germ came back right now, he'd be able to get quite a number of kills on these roaches before the hydras even engaged, which is just not really what you want. Yeah. So Germ's setting up the goal, and once again, this is the case of just no vision. And I mean, it seems so obvious, scout, but when you're in a game, a lot of the times you forget, you need to scout. Like, he needs some these Zerglings. Just take your control group of Zerglings, grab one, and send them to the towers. Send them just running around or random expansions. It's one Zergling. It doesn't matter. And for the Terran, it would be an SCV. Just send them around, poke around, see what's up, because you don't want to lose a game just because you were too lazy to send out one SCV. And those Zerglings were in a terrible position. Having Zerglings in front is retarded. And anytime you see Zerglings in front, like, just pick a few off. I mean, obviously, there's not nearly enough Zerglings to cause Germ any damage. They're just going to die. That's an awesome steal for Germ. Where these guys should be. Now, if Germ's going to come in here, the Zerg is actually not in a terrible position, okay? Because the roaches are going to come up from the bottom. The hydras are going to come down from the top. If he actually had his Zerglings tucked up here somewhere, anywhere up here, to come in from the back once the fight had already started, or just shortly after the fight had already been started, so they aren't taking the brunt of the fire, that's how you use Zerglings effectively. So we'll see these Zerglings kind of get owned. The hydras don't come into the fight, and look at this, again, half army versus Jeremy's whole army. And these roaches stand no chance without the hydra support. They're so far away, they've been pulled out of position. You never want your opponent to pull your units out of position, because Germ just came in and got all these guys onto their AI, basically. Took a shot. It's like pulling mobs. He's pulled a bunch of mobs back and separated them from the other pack, and that's bad micro. He needs to get all those guys attacking at the same time. And look, even Jeremy's back guy is attacking. He has this huge line, all firing, and the Zerg only has this little bit. So he's going to lose all this crap for just no reason. And as soon as Germ's seeing the Hydras coming in, he's pulling the Roaches off the creep so they're slow, forcing them to retreat. And retreating against these Marauders is always very painful, again, because of the concussive missiles. They're slowing those Roaches down and getting in the kills, and the Hydras, again, not attacking. By the time they do attack, it's starting to get too late, but there are a lot of Hydras, so Germ withdraws. And again, pulling them out. Look at that. Almost all of Germ's guys are going to be firing again, and just a few Roaches are firing. Everything else is moving into position. Bunch of free shots. As soon as the Hydras establish their line again here, Germ's going to get out. Oh, he goes in for a few extra shots, realizes it's not looking good, and gets out. And because the Hydras are slow off the creep, they can't chase you. So that's just really smart for him. He just took out all of the frontline support for these Hydras. And now the Zerg is stuck with just this. And the Zerg is sitting there with 5,000 minerals sitting on it. Look at this. Holy shit. 11 larvae. Only 2 at that guy. I bet you he forgot to control group this hatchery or something, because he's just not producing off of it. And look, he's at a disadvantage. He's got less units. He thinks he has a bigger economy, but it's not mattering because he's not spending it, and he just decides to spread all over the map. And this kind of thing I see Zergs doing too, and it's like, it's just indefensible. There's no way you could defend a drop right here. And if you did try to go defend it, what if the opponent does a drop here as well? Like, it becomes impossible to defend this unless you start doing some really sick shit with Nidus Worms, which obviously this guy doesn't do. He doesn't seem particularly slick. Perhaps off his game today, I don't know. But Germ's just amassing a huge army here, and the Zerg's just losing every minute. Every minute this goes on, and even Germ needs to macro some more. Oh, there we go. Tons of spending. Germ has a ton of gas, needs to get some more gas-heavy units. These Marauders are not spending as much gas as he'd like. Just the exact opposite problem I find myself in. But Germ likes his low-tech units and to go in for big attacks and stuff. So the Zerg is just remicring, but he's not really changing much. He's getting these Roaches, which seem to be getting owned quite badly. I mean, look at this. That's a lot of Marauders, okay? So you just don't want to be getting Roaches against that, really. It's not very effective. What would be effective is if he'd get some... He's got the Cavern, or whatever this is called, pit, the Infestation Pit. If he'd get some of these Infestors out for fungal growth, he could take away Germ's maneuverability. Get a fungal growth on a bunch of those Marauders, and they can no longer run, and you can actually get all your firepower onto them. Because the Zerg has been like kind of kited around and harassed due to Jeremy's superior maneuverability. Yeah. And he's just got no sight of this base at all. And here's another point about scouting. It's not only... especially early game. At this point, it's a little bit late. I mean, it's still slightly useful, but early game, it's not about what he gets, or even when he gets it necessarily. How many he gets is a big deal. Like, knowing fairly early game that Jeremy went 3 or 4 barracks, that's really important, because then you know exactly what to expect out of him. I'm going to expect a shitload of infantry, and I need to deal with infantry. That's what the goal is. This is going to be a bile build. Whereas if you saw something like